Good day, everyone, and welcome to the second 9 weeks. In this presentation, we're going to discuss the first 9 weeks, make recommendations for improvements, talk about the second 9 weeks and its overview, and of course, that means math will be done. Alright, so let's dive in deep about the first 9 weeks. So, in class, I gave y'all a chance to speak your piece about it, and I spoke my piece already about it. I told you one of the things that's hindering you guys is your refusal to think for yourself. You want one person to do the work for you, and you're going by your business. That's a problem. Refusal to show self-accountability. Instead you take ownership and want to do better, you want to point fingers, which never works well for you. You believe that someone's just going to pass you through. That's not going to work, y'all. It's not. You're concerned about the wrong things. You can't come to school be concerned about anything other than what's going on in school, despite your personal problems. Whatever you're going through, it doesn't matter for the time that you are in that classroom, because you have a time and a place to take care of all of that. That's on your lunch break, you know. You do have a tendency of making me laugh. I do like to laugh, so that's cool, but sometimes I try to do it a little too much. You guys would like to do homework. I see it clear as day. That is a problem. To pass the class, one of the requirements is for you to do the homework so you can get the practice. You guys ask me day in, day out, or you say day in, day out, I don't get this. I don't get this. I did the homework, I still don't get it. It's because you're not really doing the homework. All you trying to do is get the answers done, get it turned in. Why turn in work if you don't know what you did on it? Why do that? So that's the hindrance of why so many of you guys are currently failing the class. To do better, you gotta take this seriously. This is not the class for you to turn in work and think, oh, I'm gonna be passed through because I turned in work. That's not gonna be it. Please turn the work in with skill. You guys don't like to show effort. And then when you see that it's too late, like the end of the 9 weeks, that's when you want to care. It's like you had 8 weeks to care, but why wait till the 9 week to start caring when you know grades are due? Yeah, please step up. Recommendations. So, you guys don't like to write. Unfortunately, you're going to have to write. Cahoots. When we do them, you will work it out on paper first before you blurt out answers. You guys are not allowed to, how to say, blurt out answers because you guys don't know what you're doing. So that's why I'm in the process of just putting into all the Cahoots and just be done with it. You guys are going to do more group presentations. Tutoring. Still not comfortable with doing it because Bethany provide tutoring and they have pullouts. They are willing to feed you on Thursdays if you're hungry. And you give a hot meal and you get someone to teach you. And you're going about your business. Assign seats and you are having strict rules in the classroom. Alright, so new calculators. policy. I will be assigning you calculators, and I will send documentation home prior to assigning them. You will be charged for any damages since I'm responsible for all technology fees. If you mark the calculator, damage calculator, you won't get it. You will be written up for destroying school equipment if your calculator that I assigned has any wear and tear on it. I mean, any damages on it. So I know how your kids like to be bored, like to mark on it. Well, you do that, documentation, go on by your business. Assign seats. Some of you I moved because I didn't think it was going to work out for you. If it was working, I was right. And I will keep changing you guys around till I get the perfect balance that I need to teach. Codes, just like I told you, independent work, work the problem out, then discuss it as a group, and then by a vote, we will choose the correct answer. And if I need to explain any of the stuff, I will do so. And I will be grading you based on 4 of those things, all of them. I'm not going to grade you on 3, I'm going to grade you on all things. Some of us have did an essay with open notes. It's going to be worth 5 points instead of the 10 that I do on pop quizzes. And of course, essay tickets are open notes. You still cannot work with nobody, and what happened at the end of the lesson. Pop quiz is still the same as it always been. Absent policy, you got 48 hours to turn in an absent notice to me, your teacher, or you get no work. You can't miss no more than 10 days out the year. You miss any more than 10, I definitely can't help you. Alright, the second 9 weeks. This is what we're going to do for the second 9 weeks. Polynomial still, trigonometry, ACT, and ACT work keys. If you are looking for an exemption, you have to score 7 on the ACT work keys, you have to score 20 on the ACT, and you must have maintained a 75C. These are the things that's going to give you your exemption. So just having an A and I mean the other 2 requirements will not give you an exemption. Alright, one of the things you guys are going to do is create an ACT account. It's going to look like this. And you're going to, do your thing from there. And there is a grade. Second 9 weeks, the trigger and the requirement. So these are the things that you have to know before we start the trig unit. You have to simplify radicals, graph from the coordinate plane, know about rational numbers, multiplicative inverse, Pythagorean theorem, trig ratios, degrees in the circle, and know that the inverse of squared is the square root. Now when I say multiplicative inverse, I mean the reciprocal. Like for example, 5 has a multiplicative inverse of 1/5. 2/5 has a multiplicative inverse of 5/2. It's not the additive inverse I'm not saying 5 has a multiplicative inverse of -1/5, because that's going to be incorrect because your sign is not going to change at all. So keep that in mind, all right? Don't forget about the polynomials. Guys, the precise definition of mathematics. It's amazing how so many of you guys got that incorrect or left it blank. After I have asked you guys to watch the video of it, that gives you a beautiful explanation of it. Remember, mathematics is nothing but techniques to explain, understand, and manage reality by ciphering, counting, measuring, classifying, ordering, inferring, and modeling patterns arising in the environment. That's the precise definition of mathematics. And we count. Everybody loves to count numbers. That's what we do, and that's how we satisfy the precise definition of mathematics. So, we have dealt with squares. We know that 6 squared is just saying repeated multiplication, so multiply by itself. So 6 squared is equivalent to 6 times 6, which equals 36. Again, 6 squared is equivalent to 6 times 6 equals 36. Alright, so what about the square root of 36? Well, the square root of 36 goes backwards. So instead of you saying 36 times 36, you try to figure out what number multiplied by itself gives you 36. And when we do, we get 6 times 6. So therefore the answer is just 6. Because you multiply 6 twice to get 36. Alright, so remember all the squares. 1 squared is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. 7 times 7 is 49. 8 times 8 is 64. 9 times 9 is 81. 10 times 10 is 100. Those are very important to know. Alright, so squares and square roots go back. So 4 times 4 is 16. And we know that the square root of 16 is 4 because 4 multiplied by itself twice is going to give you 16. So therefore it's 4. If you are still struggling with that, I have posted videos in Google Classroom for additional support. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's simplify radicals. So, square root of 8 is not a perfect square, but that's a way where if you rewrite it into 2 factors, you're going to find one of them to have a perfect square for you to simplify. So let's try this together. So these are the steps that you need to get to solving the square root of 8. So the first step is to break down to factors where one of the factors is a perfect square. I'm sorry, y'all got too carried away with the A's. It's a perfect square. And the other one is not. Like for example, if I break down the square root of 8 into factors of 4 times 2, I know 4 is a perfect square. Because the number that multiplied by itself to give you 4 is 2, because 2 times 2 is 4. So with that being said, you can simplify it. So the factor that does not have a perfect square like 2 does not have a perfect square, so it's going to stand inside the radical. But the 4 the square root of 4 becomes 2, and that's what's going to be on the outside. And that is how you simplify this. Now, again, we have done this lesson in class, so hopefully you have your notes. If you have not, please find your notes and let's review them. All right. I want you to pause the video and try find the square root of 18. Exactly as we did the previous. So pause the video right quick and try it out. All right, welcome back. By now, you have tried simplifying the square root of 18. If you not have done so, please pause the video and work it out. But if you have, we could do it. So this is what I did. So I know 9 times 2 is 18. 9 is a perfect square because I know a number that multiplies by itself, times itself would give me 9, which is 3 times 3. So that's why you see 3 on the outside. And because square root 2 is not a perfect square, guess what? Square root 2 stands on the outside. And that's how you do that. All right, why don't we not try 48? Pause the video, try it right now. All right, welcome back. I trust that you have worked this problem out. If you have not done so, please do it. If you have done so, let's do it. So this is what I did. I know that if I simplify those factors of 48, I know 16 times 3 gives me the square root of 48. And 16 is a perfect square, so that gives me 4. But 3 is not a perfect square, so I leave that on the inside. All right. I want you to quickly pause this video and work this problem out. Well, let me say this. Before you work it out, this is a student's work. So the student was given a task to simplify the square root of 72. You are going to check that student's work. You are going to identify the mistakes. You're going to praise what the student did do, and you are going to work the problem out yourself. Then you're going to score it out of 10. So pause the video and work it out. All right, by now you have did what I've asked. And let's see. This is my critique, and hopefully you have met me in the same way. So the student have managed to find the perfect square and wrote the answer in the correct form. However, the student did not break down both factors properly. Both numbers 4 and 18 have perfect squares. 4 is a perfect square of 2, 18 has a perfect square of 9 and 2, but 2 is not a perfect square. So, with this being said, the student was scored 6 out of 10. And the correct work should look like this. So square root of 72 equals 36 times 2. Because we know the square root of 36 is going to be 6. 6 square root of 2.